Good morning, everyone. This is Leah Dixon in Port Coquitlam, British Columbia, Canada, and I am back with my regular Wednesday morning Facebook Lives. We had a little bit of an interruption through most of June because of a new partial return to school schedule, but summer is almost here, 2 more days, and so I am able to get back to my regular Wednesday mornings. It feels really good to be back on kind of a normal schedule. So yeah, 2 more days of school for teachers. Students are done. And then summer vacation. So excited. So today what I'm doing is I'm actually making a card for my teaching partner. She and I have been teaching partners since before my first was born. So I guess 15 years. And she is simply the best. So I wanted to make a quick thank you card for her for the end of the school year. And I'm going to use the stamp set Nothing's Better Than, along with the coordinating dies. And so this actually gets sold as a bundle right now, which actually gives you 10% off. And it's featured on page 91 of our catalog. You can see the whole set here. So there's the stamp set, and then the coordinating dies are called Love You More Than dies. But if we look, where did they have the, there we go. It's kind of hidden on the page. It's actually 10% off if you buy the two together for $63.75. So yeah, they are kind of not they still have all their bundle deals, but they're kind of not as visible on the pages. So I just wanted to really point that out to you, because even knowing where it was, I had trouble finding it. So yeah, super sweet set. And that's what I'm going to be using today. So I'm going to move these things out of the way and grab my card material so we can start creating. I'm going to start with a piece of Whisper White cardstock, and this has actually been trimmed down quite significantly because it's actually the third layer on our card. So it's at 3 7/8 by 5 1/8 is the size of this piece of paper. And I'm going to grab my little cocktail that I've got here and some Memento black ink. And basically, I'm going to just stamp this little cocktail all over the whole page. Okay. And so not really, I am going to try and keep them somewhat upright and not overlapping, but kind of just going randomly everywhere. There we go. Let's see, actually, I think I'm going to put that one in like that. I'm just trying to picture where the other bits of my card are going to go so that I don't cover up too much of any of these. All right. Well, I hope I left enough space. There we go. All right. Oh, I should have done that one sideways. Oh, well. And I'll throw a little umbrella in there to fill that space. And a little orange slice right there to fill that. All right. So not too concerned about how these are going on. Just kind of pop them in wherever. Oh, and I can see there's somebody watching. Let's just see if I can leave a comment here. All right. Let's just see. Sorry, guys. Just trying to leave a comment. Done. All right. Oh, hey, good morning, Danielle. There we go. I got to remember to do that comment thing so I can see you guys. All right. So I have my cocktail stamped all over this. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some Coastal Cabana and Bermuda Bay and a sponge. And I've just taken my Stampin' Sponge and cut it into 6 pieces. So I've just got one little chunk. I'm going to start with the Coastal Cabana. I always start with my lighter color. and just get a little bit of ink onto the sponge. Now, because I'm going to be putting an embellishment right here, this is where I'm always going to start, so that the first little piece that goes on that doesn't always look great is going to get covered up by my embellishment that's going on here. And from there, I'm just going to kind of sponge in circles. So now if you were making a card and weren't going to be able to cover up a focal point, I would always start off the page and then sponge onto the page. That way you get that first kind of set down of the sponge, where you can definitely see the texture of the sponge. You'd get that off of your page. All right, so that's my Coastal Cabana layer. You can see I left some white spots. It's all good. We want to have it kind of be like some darker spots, some lighter spots. Now I'm going to come in with Bermuda Bay, which is significantly darker. And this time I am going to start off the page, because I don't actually want to come in too much to my center. I want to leave that more Coastal Cabana. All right. And so I am still trying to leave some white spots. I'm going to come in and darken up some of these other spots. So you could even do this with 2 different colors and blend them together. There we go. All right. And I'm going to do a few of my spots with Coastal Cabana, just to, or sorry, yeah, no, with Bermuda Bay, a little bit darker. Okay. All right, there we go. Actually, that corner is just a little bit light. Okay, there we go. So just sponge that whole background. At this point, you want to check your hands and just make sure they're not too inky. Oh, good morning, Janice. Good morning, Val. Yes, it is a rainy morning. That's okay. Makes it all the easier to stay inside and stamp my day away, because today is my day off. Super excited. All right, so with that done, I've got one more thing I'm going to do to this page. I'm going to grab some Magenta Madness. And, oh, and before I open it, I'm going to give it a good little squeeze. That's going to put a bunch of ink on the top of this ink pad. And then I'm going to grab an aqua painter. Now, I do actually have the new ones. Oh, but I don't know where I have put them. So they do have some different tips. They do also have this tip. And so this is basically just a pen that you're going to fill up with water. Always grab a Kleenex before you start so that you don't get drips everywhere. Oh, good morning, Lori. And then I'm just going to get a little bit of water going in here, not too much. Okay. All right, that should be good. Then I'm going to pick up some color with my aqua painter. I'm going to grab the lid of my aqua painter. Oh, why is that? And I'm going to do a test run on the side. That's coming out very, very watery. So I'm going to pick up some more color. Test that again. Okay, there we go. We've got some pink color happening. And then I'm going to splatter some pink on here. It's kind of turning purpley. That's okay. Just a bit. Just to add a bit of color to this. There we go. All right, so I've got that. Now, if you don't want it to bleed the way mine did, you can do your splatter first and then do your sponging after. I kind of like how it looks a little bit like watery and like a spilt cocktail. All right, so this has run out of water. So what I would normally do is squeeze this and run water through it until it runs clear. But I actually ran out of water in that one. So I'm going to have to go refill it and then clean it up. So I'll do that after. So I always just wipe away the excess in here as well so that I don't get water in my ink pads. And then I can put that away. Put that to the side to clean. All right, so now we have our base and we can start kind of putting our card together. And we'll get the die machine out in just a moment. So I have a card base here. Oh, what's that value? You've already done your grocery shopping? And, oh, age has benefits. Yes. Luckily for me, I don't actually have to do any grocery shopping today. We get ours delivered on Sundays. So today is truly a day off to just spend my day doing what I want to do. So I have a Granny Apple Green base here. So this is just a standard 8.5 by 5.5 and scored in the center. Then I have a piece of black cardstock that I trimmed just 1/4 inch smaller. So it's 5 1/4 by 4. And then this piece that's going to layer on. So we're going to glue all of these pieces together and then set this aside to start working on the embellishments that go on here. So here we go. Grab that. All right. So I do like using my liquid glue. I did actually get some of the seal tape in my last order, but I haven't opened it and played with it yet. And so I will do that and then come on and do a card using that and let you guys know. I've heard mixed reviews. Some people love it, some people hate it. Oh, have a good day, Danielle. I'll see you later. All right, glue this on. There we go. So yeah, some people love the seal, some people hate it, so I'm very curious to see what I think of it. If it sticks really well, like this glue does, then I'll probably be a huge fan of it. So the reason I use the liquid glue is I find it just has the best kind of like stick to it. All right, so now before we finish with this, we're gonna come in. Good morning, Catherine. We're gonna come in with Wink Stella, which I got pink ink all over. Huh. There we go. And I'm going to color in all of my glassware and set this off to the side to dry while we do the rest of the bits. So there is a little stamp that you can use that kind of like puts some liquid and ice cubes and stuff in here. Let me grab the stamp set and show you. So you can do like the color on color stamping and throw a drink into your cocktail glass. I'm not going to bother with that because this is just a background. So instead, I'm going to make it all kind of fun by making our glassware sparkly. Nothing better than a sparkly DSP, and essentially what we're doing here is creating our own DSP. You could actually make an entire sheet of this and then cut it up and use it on your cards however you'd like. I just happen to be making one card, so I just did the right size for this, but you could totally take an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper and do this technique and then cut it all up. All right, so a few more of these to color in. Oh no, and that's why you always want Kleenex nearby and you never want to squeeze your Wink Stella while it's over top of your project. There we go. Well, that was luckily contained and luckily in a spot that's going to get covered up by our main embellishment. So yeah, squeeze your Wink Stella to get some more sparkles coming, but don't squeeze it over your project like me. Oh my goodness. Now, if you are going for that like silver plated look, you could do that over your whole project and you'd have a really dark sparkly look. Not what I'm going for. All right. There we go. But I do love the sparkles that this creates on a card. All right, just about done. Just got to get all these little stems. And this Wink Stella does dry very quickly. So by the time we finish up the next pieces for this card, this will be completely dry and ready to go. I already did that one. There we go. And if any of these bits don't look sparkly enough, you can always come in and do a second layer on them. Works a little bit better when it's dried before you do the second layer, but You can always come in while it's still wet. All right, there. All right, so there's a lot of sparkle to that card now. And yeah, luckily that one little piece is going to get all covered up. So, all good. So that's going to set to the side now and dry. I am going to grab some cardstock now to do some embellishment pieces. So I have got here a piece of Bermuda Bay cardstock that I'm going to cut out a scallop circle with. I've got a piece of white that we're going to do a stitched circle with, but what I really want to show you is my other piece of paper. Now, you'll have to excuse that mine says Sizzix all over it because mine is an older stock. I haven't reordered the new adhesive sheets, but I want to show you how these adhesive sheets work, and the new ones that we got work just like these old Sizzix ones that I have. So I am going to grab a piece of adhesive sheet, and I don't remember how many sheets you actually get in a package. 162 adhesive sheets. You get 12 sheets that are 6 by 12. So it is exactly like their old offering. So this is a half of a sheet that I have right here. This is a 6 by 6 square, and it's kind of how I like to work with it. So I might actually go get a different piece of Bermuda Bay. So when I cover it, I tend to cover a large piece all at once. Let's cut this. 6. All right, so I've got here a 6 by 6 sheet of Bermuda Bay, and so that's going to cover this whole piece of adhesive sheet that I have. And the reason I like to do that is because then I can kind of tuck this away in my file folder, and I have my ready to go adhesive for doing some die cutting. So first things first is we're going to peel the edge up a bit. All right, peel that all the way off, lay it down flat, and then this is a bit trickier. I'm going to try and square this on my adhesive sheet and push down. So you can see I missed a little spot where the adhesive is sticking out, but we're all good there. So with that put down, then I'm going to come back in here and peel off this other little ledge. There we go. All right, so that is completely done. Now I do have a little bit of extra adhesive sticking out, and so I'm going to actually trim that up with some scissors because otherwise it sticks to everything. So I'm just going to grab my snips and come in here and trim that up. You could also just use your paper trimmer and trim that. Oh, come on. There we go. That one's done. And pop into this side. Actually, that one goes the whole length. I am just going to trim that. Alright, so I just used my paper cutter and cut that whole edge off so that I don't have sticky pieces kind of attaching themselves to stuff. Alright, so now what I basically have here is a sticker, a Bermuda Bay cardstock sticker, and I can run this through my die cutting machine and cut out virtually anything I want. So I'm going to move these out of the way. I'm going to bring in my die cutting machine. Here we go. Pop this down. And I am going to use the word cocktails and cut that out. So now this is just like you were using any piece of cardstock. The 6 by 6 fits on here nicely so it runs through your machine well. I'm going to throw down the word cocktails. I'm actually going to throw it down sideways. That whole idea of like not, oh, it doesn't want to stay. Okay, there we go. If they really won't cooperate, I'll use washi tape to hold them in place, but there we go. Cocktails is down in place, and run it through. And run All right. So while we've got this out, I am going to grab my Whisper White and my Bermuda Bay. And I'm using my two favorite die sets. I've got the largest scallop from the Layering Circles die set, and then the largest stitched circle from the Stitched Shapes set. And pop the top on that. I'm going to run those through. All right, now we can move this out of our way. And we have our shapes. So yeah, those two die sets together, I adore. The stitched shapes fit in perfectly inside the layered circle dies, and yeah, they're just really, they work really well together. And the stitched shapes, if you do not own these, oh my gosh, circles, squares, and ovals, all with the stitching, just make any project just that much more beautiful. All right, move all of that out. Okay, so now we have our pieces here. So that fits on nicely like that. And somewhere, oh, there it is. Somewhere I had that cocktails that we cut out. And so what you will find, so I did run this through twice. Often you'll actually want to run it through 3 times because they do stick a little bit more. Now, there's the eye from our cocktails. I'm actually just going to leave that in place because I don't need it for this card. I am actually going to be using a rhinestone instead. And where did my little pokey tool go? Well, I'll just use a pair of scissors today. So normally I would use my paper piercer. Hi, Jacqueline. Normally I'd use my paper piercer to pop these pieces out, but I cannot find it at the moment. So I'm just going to use the tip of my scissors. They do stick a little bit more because of that adhesive. And then as you're doing this, you want to make sure that you're not pulling off the whole adhesive backing. Not yet. We want to keep that backing on for a little bit until we're ready to put this onto our project. All right. Ugh. These pieces are all sticking to me. Ugh. There we go. Just about done. So you could also use your roller brush. I just, with something fine like this, sometimes I worry that the roller brush will push the backing off, and I don't want the backing off yet because I'm not ready to stick that to my card. I have a little bit of stamping to do before we get there. So there we go. I've got those and my Magenta Madness. And I'm going to stamp. So I'm going to kind of lay down my word cocktails in the center. I'm going to stamp You're Just Like across the top. And then down at the bottom on the opposite side. So that was kind of like top left. And then bottom right. I'm going to stamp You Make Everything Better. All right. And that was in Magenta Madness. Such a fabulous color. Oh my gosh. All right. Now, oh, I know. So actually when I made the sample of this card, I forgot to use the adhesive sheets. And as I was trying to glue the word down, I was cursing and going, bring those adhesive sheets out right now. So, second time's a charm. All right, so now I've got a piece of Granny Apple in our new designer series paper, and I'm going to cut just, I should have done this beforehand, I'm going to cut just a 1/2 inch strip. Sorry, not even a 1/2 inch, a 1/4 inch. Yeah, so just a 1/4 inch strip of this, and then where'd my card base go? And then I'm just going to kind of not even really measure it. I'm just going to eyeball it and snip off that end. And the end that I just snipped, I'm also going to get my favorite punch, my tailored die out. Oh, I know. Sip Sip Hooray was such a good set, so I'm so happy to see this one here to replace it. And so that end that I just kind of randomly snipped, I'm now going to do a nice, I'll do that again because I don't want it to be over top of those circles. I want it to be clearly within the green. There we go. So I'm just going to do like a tiny, tiny border on there. Oh, thank you, Jacqueline. I just did, well, stamped the cocktails and then sponged the background and then added some Wink Estella to kind of brighten up the flowers. And this one that I got a big gob on is going to get covered up anyways. Okay, perfect. So that works out well. Then I'm going to grab a piece of black as well and just cut it at 2 inches by, I don't know, like a 1/2 inch or a 1/4 inch again. You don't need much. So 1/4 inch and by 2 inches. All right, so it's literally just a little scrap here that I've got because I want it to just underline the word cocktails. Oh, this one isn't even straight. Doesn't matter though because it's going to be going underneath this piece of green. So I'm actually going to glue this straight down onto my card. So I am going to use glue because that is my favorite. And for this one, I'm just going to make sure that the bottom of it is straight. Don't care about the top because it's going to get covered. So there's my black piece right there in the center. And then, before we do the next steps, I'm going to glue this onto, oops, okay, I have a glue eraser somewhere. I already used it earlier today. There we go. So if you're using white liquid glue, I do recommend you have a good white eraser on hand, or if you're old timer like me, having the glue eraser around, lifesaver. All right, so now glue this onto our scallop. And oddly enough for me, I'm not actually doing dimensionals on this card. So strange, but I'm actually gluing all the layers down. So glue this down, and remember this one you want to glue it so that it covers up all your mistakes. So I am going to try and glue it as low as possible, but there we go, still covers up that great big glob of mine. All right, there. So with that glued down, now I'm going to grab this little green banner that I created, and I'm going to put just the tiniest bit of glue on the back here. If any of you were watching my video last week or the week before, I actually showed using a sponge and sponging glue onto pieces like this. You could totally do that to not get glue globs. And now this piece, I'm going to put it so it comes right out to the edge of my card. And oops, I'm going to raise this up a bit so it covers up that uneven black that I had. There we go. All right, so that goes right across. And now here comes the magic. No fiddling with glue for this. I'm going to peel the backing off of my word. So there we go. And I can stick this down. I've essentially just created a beautiful sticker, and just going to have it touching my DSP. There we go. All right. Love those. So cool. And then we're going to bling it up a bit with just some basic rhinestones. So many bits here. Now, if you still have leftover like the peacock rhinestones and stuff like that, it might be really nice to use those to add a little splash of color in here. I'm just going to use these though because I have used up all of my old peacock rhinestones. There we go. So just a few little rhinestones on there, and our card is finished. So that is my creation today. So this is for my teaching partner, Claire. Thanks, Val. Because seriously, she is actually just like cocktails. She makes life so easy. So yeah, so grateful to have her as a partner, and we're going to continue that again next year. So just want to say my thanks to her. So that's my card for today. I hope you guys liked that and saw how easy it is. You could literally do this with any stamp set to do that background. Take a nice little line drawing and stamp that all over the back and sponge and splatter. And yeah, and then sparkles make everything good. Love my Wink Stella. So you guys have a fabulous day, and I will see you soon. Hopefully come summertime, I'm going to be able to do a lot more of these lives. But 2 more days of school, and then we'll see what energy I can muster up. So have a great rainy day. Hope you get a chance to stamp. Bye-bye.